All right, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It looks like Harry is ready to jump right in. If you don't know who Harry Stout is, he is a financial industry legend and the author of Financialverse book series. And today we're going to be talking about annuity buyer insights. And I think that this will be really valuable for a lot of the financial advisors and insurance agents on this webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A during the webinar. And stay tuned for the very end. I have a very special offer for those of you that are not yet Annuities Genius subscribers. Take it away, Harry.
Robbie, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with everyone today. I'll try to spend really focused time helping you better understand what's going on with annuity buyers and the industry. And hopefully it'll be a good session for you. And you'll see that what I'm going to talk about today highlights the mission of Annuities Genius. Education is so important, and you'll see that throughout my talk today. So let's go ahead and just a compliance disclosure, the usual ones. If you please pay attention to and adhere to the current policies of your broker dealer or the carriers that you represent. And everything today that I'm presenting is proprietary to the Financialverse organization. All right, so what we're going to do today, my session overview real quick, I'm going to highlight for you the current state of personal financial health, talk to you about annuity sales results, highlight for you what I believe are the new stages of financial life given the pandemic, discuss the top reasons clients don't buy annuities. I've got some suggestions for you and how you can improve the consumer's annuity focus, and tell you a little bit more about where you can find out more information about what I do at the Financialverse. So first off, the current state. Really difficult times for so many people, and what COVID has done, it has exposed the weak financial foundations of Americans, and there's no doubt about it. One of the other issues, and you'll see this in a couple of places in my presentation today, and I wanted to highlight it for you. Trust issues exist with annuity agents and companies. I wanted to get that up front, and it's one of the major reasons that consumers are not buying annuity products is the trust issues that they have, and we'll talk more about that later. Today, consumers have little time for money matters. If you look at it, believe it or not, consumers spend about 2 minutes and 24 seconds a day on their financial matters versus almost 2.5 hours on social media. So consumers aren't spending the time necessary to get the education that they need. And what we've seen during the course of this pandemic over the last 7 months is many consumers have had to tap their nest egg, and many people have ceased savings. So we've seen this for so many folks. That's the case, and it's tells you that going forward, there's going to be a real retirement deficit, the need for more retirement savings going forward. And I'll elaborate on that as we go on today. The other thing we're saying is low levels of financial knowledge pretty much at all ages, in particular for annuities. You see this through survey after survey, showing that folks just don't understand basic finance. And one of the reasons is in our country today, only 19 states mandate any sort of personal finance course for someone to graduate high school. And if you go back about a decade, that number is substantially less. So we really have a lot of financial literacy in our country, and it really affects how financial services products and services are sold. So if you look at the current state, I just want to highlight just these 3 items for you. Over 70% of consumers don't have a cash budget. We've got low levels or non-existent emergency funds and low levels of retirement funds. So when you take a look at our country, the broad country today, the financial health of consumers needs attention. And for me, as I look at it, improvement has to start with basic money awareness, improved education, and dedication of time. I call it lack of money time. Now, if you look at the stages of life that we have, the financial stages, I think things have changed a little bit. So I've defined a person's financial life. I try to keep things simple. I've got 3 phases. The first is adulting. or what I call the journey to age 30. And in this time period, folks really, this is where they get their education. Hopefully they make the right decision for college. They develop good money habits. They really have that, all the economic tools, knowledge they need to be successful. And for a lot of people listening today, you'll appreciate this. You wanted to exit the bank of mom and dad, and hopefully to work to move from home to their own place. Now, one of the issues we have in our society today is we have about 27 million 18 to 29-year-olds that are home. And for the first time, 52% of that age cohort is living at home in multi-generational households. So it's going to be harder for so many of these young people to get where they need to be, given our economy and given future aspects in terms of employment and income. The second phase I've named is the striving phase, and this is ages 31 to 70. Now, for a lot of folks, working to age 70 is not what people would love to do today. I think the average person wants to retire at 62. I think people are going to have to work longer, and they're going to have to work longer as a result of longer life expectancies, but also because their savings have been diminished and the return characteristics on those savings is changing. So people are going to have to work longer to fund longer life expectancy. So in this striving period, this is really the key period of time, is where people earn their living. They accumulate assets. This is where they, as they get towards that 50-year-old market there, they look to accumulate assets, in particular for annuities. They decide on their lifestyle. Hopefully they build a strong financial foundation. They put insurance protections in place. And I've been talking a lot nationally about the need to put insurance protections in place. They need to save and prepare for later life. And this last item, I want you to just keep this in the back of your mind, because I think you're going to see this subject talked about more and more. They have to keep their occupation and vocational skills sharp and employable. And many people are calling this reskilling. So people are going to have to be able to be reskilled to go from one job to the other. And I'll give you just one example of that. Think of all the airline pilots that are going to lose their jobs over the next year. They're not going to be able to get another pilot's position with another airline. What they're going to have to do is most likely find a whole new job, a whole new career. They're going to have to be reskilled. So are they going to pay for that? Is the government going to pay for it? It's a key issue. But the second stage is striving. So we go adulting, then to striving. And then the last stage I call fulfilling, and that's ages 70 and older to at least age 90. Now, you'll see that I don't refer to it in my books and the content that I write as retirement, because I think a new age of realism has hit home here. People are going to continue to work in as they hit these, if you will, these higher ages, pursue charitable activities, personal needs. You all see it as you help your customers design their financial futures. And for these people, they've got to solve that wonderful income challenge. They've got to be able to pay for increasing life expectancies. They've got the healthcare need, which is not going to go away. I think the latest Fidelity Investment Survey, I think the cost of unreimbursed healthcare for a couple retiring today is about $298,000. Addressing risk of long-term care needs. Long-term care is obviously, for these people and for so many in America, it's the big elephant in the room as far as I'm concerned. And then they can choose whether or not to leave a legacy. So the three stages that we have today are adulting, striving, and fulfilling. And naturally, you're working with people in the late striving stage and then the fulfilling stage. Now, as a result of the pandemic, and the pandemic financial focus is impacting people's how they're looking at product, where they're putting their money. So let me just highlight these for you. First off, as we've seen in the last number of months, cash is king. And this is both a good thing and a bad thing. And overall, we've got about $15.7 trillion in bank demand deposit, in bank deposit at this point in time, 15.7 trillion. That's up about 3 trillion year over year. And I've seen this in my career. As those bank deposits increase more and more, there is some impact on annuity sales positively, because as we all know, what the banks are paying is quite low. When we take a look at what's happening right now with, I think the average savings rate in the US is 0.05% based on the latest FDIC circular. Folks are also working on reducing their debt, refinancing. Again, the skilling issue, they're really concerned about, do they need to reskill? starting to set in that investment returns are going to be reduced going forward. So many folks are starting to realize this. In particular, they can see it with near zero interest rates, with some fear that the country will go negative with its rates. The next item is people are starting to realize that we're going to have to pay for the pandemic at some point in time. And regardless of your political affiliation or how you see things coming out in the current election, we've put a significant amount of money into paying for the cost of the pandemic, trillions of dollars. That's going to have to get repaid at some point in time, and primarily through increased taxes. The last two items are emergency retirement funds need to be rebuilt. That's self-explanatory. And one of the major issues for so many people in planning for their later years, for their fulfilling years, their retirement years, is given that lower expected investment returns, they're going to have to increase their savings. And I was talking to someone the other day. When I was a young man, we could get 12% on a certificate of deposit. And the young man I was talking to about it, he couldn't believe that 12% was the interest rate. All right, let's see how this is translated in terms of annuity sales. And let me just highlight these for you. For the second quarter, the industry did about $48 billion in sales for the quarter. Now, and I'll highlight the various key parts. There's bad news and good news here, but overall sales were down about 24%. Immediate annuity sales, which are typically about $2 billion a quarter, dropped to $1.4 billion. And with interest rates as low as they are, there's a reluctance on the part of consumers to put money into immediate annuities because of the lower rates. With respect to registered indexed annuities in the upper right-hand corner here, you see sales are up 8% and up 22% year to date. My take of this is this particular sales category is going to continue to increase. The pricing and the competitiveness of the registered indexed annuities is going to be very good in a low interest rate environment. So I think the ability to deliver a competitive offering to the consumer that interests the consumer, I think the registered index products are going to have an advantage, and we should see this bucket continue to increase. On the other hand, index sales are down only $12 billion for the quarter, down 40% year over year, quarter over quarter rather, 26% year to date. And if anything, with respect to index sales, I think that the Secured Retirement Institute is projecting at least a 20% decline year over year. And I think the hard thing here is it's hard to produce a competitive offering given where we are in terms of the overall interest rate environment. And with the Fed's actions, it's going to probably continue that way for at least 2 years, I would think. Now, another pocket of good news is in the fixed rate products. They were down 2%, 20% year to date. But what I'll tell you is, I think the MYGA products in this particular category, the MYGA products are going to do quite well. And still, they have a rate advantage over comparable duration bank products. So I think the MYGAs look pretty good. And then lastly, deferred income sales down substantially, 51%, 39% year to date. And again, I think that's a rate issue. So to summarize industry sales categories, annuity sales are down. Two really great areas of potential are the MYGA area and the registered indexed annuity area. Now, in terms of why consumers don't buy annuities, and I want to highlight a lot of this because a lot of this is consistent with the message that Annuities Genius is trying to bring out. First off, 72% said they have higher priorities. 65% say, oh, these are too expensive. I don't think they really consumers don't understand what the expense of an annuity product is, and I think that's where you all come in and how you can help educate. They're unsure of how much, what type to buy. Again, with, in my view, 6 major categories of annuity products, you can help educate people to understand what types are out there and which might fit. It might be a good tool for them. 62% don't understand annuities. Sounds like education to me. 56% don't feel they need one. 48% haven't gotten around to it. This is a good one. 47% said no one has approached me, which is, again, great opportunity for all of us. And then the last two items, 40% have raised their hand. And this is all information from the Insurance Barometer study from LIMRA. I look at this every year, comes out in April. They do not trust insurance companies. 40%, they do not trust insurance agents. So all this gets around to how we educate, treat, and service customers. So I think it's just really interesting, but they're the top reasons why consumers aren't buying our products. So for me, by the way, this trust issue really hits home. The lack of trust diminishes the annuity market. It's a big obstacle for all of us, and I think the industry is going to have to respond more. There've been more things going on to support what producers are doing in the field, but there's more that can be done. Now, some ideas for you in terms of what you can do to help the cause and help your prospective customers. Financial education events, I think, is really important. We've got such a deficit out there. Anything you can do to help better educate your consumers in terms of the key risks in their lives, longevity risk, the protection needs they have, I think it's just powerful. For you being the source of truth of integrity. And I know someone who's subscribing to the Annuity Genius service and what you're trying to do, you need to be that source of truth and integrity. And again, selling the products protections and guarantees. I think in many cases, people forget that annuities are insurance. And when you're an insurance product, or when they are an insurance product, you've got all the reserving capital, all the regulatory bows and ribbons, if you will, that goes around the product. And I think we need to focus in on that and let everybody know it's insurance. Perform your annual virtual checkups. I know you're all getting good at that. Anything you could do to raise financial risk awareness. I think I find so many people just don't understand their financial risks. The last two items are just my own personal preferences. One is I really like combination products. Anytime you can have a product that can provide some long-term care protection, some longevity protection, anytime you get a product that can hit a couple of different risks, I think in today's market is a really great idea for the consumer. And lastly, focus on relationships and not on transactions. And I know so many of you do that, but that's a continual message. I think consumers view many times the annuity purchase as a transaction, not a relationship. And I think we all have to change that. So just wanted to let you know from my standpoint, I have a new book coming out called the Financialverse, Today's Annuity Products. It'll be available for order in November. And this is one of the books that I've written. And the book is designed, and you can see the categories here. I'm not going to repeat them. What the book does is it provides information for the consumer so that they can feel comfortable coming in to talk to you. And I've tried to write it. The book's written in a 10th grade level. It's written to be read in about 3 hours, and it should fit. So it's coming out. It'll be available for order this coming November. And it's the Financialverse, Today's Annuity Products, a tool to create protected lifetime income. If you'd like to know more about what I do and my background and the things I've done over the years, I've started in the last couple of years, I've started the Financialverse. And what we do is we provide things related to financial education, financial knowledge and information. I have free twice a week blog called Money Savers, and the other books that I've written that are available on the marketplace. So if you learn more about us at financialverse.com. So to summarize for you today, industry sales took a beating in the second quarter. When you take a look at it, several factors are at play. Clients need help to improve their financial knowledge. Personal financial education is so important. The level of financial literacy with consumers of all ages is quite low. The more that we can do to educate on financial risk, help people to understand what annuities do. They're not bad. They're not a terrible thing. They're a tool, but they're a tool that can be of really importance to their retirement planning and their income planning today. And again, positioning annuity products as solutions is what you do. And I think we need to emphasize that more and more. And for me, staying with that client, making sure you're doing regular meetings, checkups, and focusing on that relationship and helping them throughout each of their life cycles, if you will, their financial life cycles, to get where they need to be. So Robbie, with that, that's where I am. And if you'd like to take over at this time.
All right. Wow, Harry, thank you so much for all of that research and like really valuable insight. We really appreciate you doing this for us. We did have one question that I am not capable of answering. So maybe you can take this one real quick before we close things out. Someone wants to know if registered index annuities are those sold from RIA platform and broker dealers.
The answer to that is yes. To sell a registered index annuity, you have to have a securities license at this time. And products have been designed to be sold on an RIA platform, and they are available for sale by broker dealers. The key for the registered indexed annuity, and the reason you need a securities license to sell, is that in comparison to a fixed indexed annuity where the floor on the product is typically zero, in terms of the zero is your hero. With these registered index products, you can have situations where the consumer can absorb up to a 30% loss on an account in a given year. And because of that, these products are able to offer higher upside to the consumer. So that's a long-winded answer, but hopefully gets you where you need to be. Got another, yeah, another question popped up. This is from another member today. Harry, what do you see annuity distribution going in the future? I think that annuity distribution, we should be able to grow annuity distribution. One of the things I've learned over time is that people, when someone gives you a check for $80,000 to $100,000 to buy a product, they want to have an advisor in front of them. They want to have someone they can talk to, someone they can go to with that amount of money being put into a product. So I see that we should see growth. The need for advice and need for someone to help them with that annuity purchase is not going to go away. I do believe we will see a part of the market go to simpler products that are able to be purchased over the internet, but I think both areas can work together to grow the market.
Fantastic. Does anyone have any more questions before we wrap things up? No? Fantastic. All right. Like I said in the beginning of this call and throughout the chat, we have a very special offer. If you're not subscribed to Annuities Genius today, we are giving you a free annuities database. This is huge. It's a really big part of our platform and our business, and we feel like everyone that is working with annuities should have access to this tool. So I'm going to play a quick video and leave a link in the chat so you can sign up for your free annuities database if you don't already have it. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending, and thank you so much, Harry, for sharing all of your knowledge with us.
You're quite welcome, Robbie. It was my pleasure. Thanks again.
Where do you go to search for the best annuity for your client? Are you tired of calling someone every time you need information on a product? Welcome to Annuities Genius, where you can save time with access to the most comprehensive annuities database available. Annuities Genius makes it easy to get real-time information from over thousands of annuities in just one click. You get free and full access to FIAs, structured annuities, traditional fixed, multi-year guarantees, and SPIAs. In your database, you can sort and filter for just about anything. Rate of return, fees, company ratings, free withdrawals, par rates, caps, and spreads. You can see all the riders and access special strategies already created for you. You can show side-by-side comparisons and see the details for every product. By now you're thinking this is amazing, but the best part is it's absolutely free. That's right, free. It's the only annuity software you will ever need. And so, on behalf of the Annuities Genius family, enjoy.
David and his team, he has a great team. They've created the next generation annuity research, reference, sales, and compliance platform. Annuity Genius has changed our lives and the way we do business. We're making money right now in the heart of COVID-19. We spend less time doing the research. Annuity Genius does it for us. We've increased our compliance and have elevated the duty we owe to our clients' best interest. The value of Annuity Genius is simply huge. The price is extremely cheap for the value and benefits you receive. You can't afford not to have it. Annuity Genius made me a better advisor. If it can make me a better advisor, it'll also make you a better advisor.
Annuities Genius is quickly becoming the go-to software for annuity producers in the industry.
What would you do if you knew?
All right, I just want to thank everyone again who's still on the call for joining us today. Be sure to sign up for your free annuities database if you have not already. You go to annuitiesgenius.com/free-plan. If you have any questions about the free annuities database, feel free to give us a call at 949-600-7707. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.